Hi, I'm Sandra Parker. What happens when we don't listen to the signals from our body that tell us that we're on the verge of growing? What happens when we ignore signal anxiety, when we ignore vulnerability? You know, what's hard for me is I think many of us approach growth like we are sort of some kind of engineering project or some kind of technological thing, and that we're a problem to be solved, and that there are 3 steps and 7 principles and 10 things that we need to do, and then you've got it. And it's really hard for me because I do see much of what I'm talking about as, on the one hand, ridiculously simple. On the other hand, very, very, very difficult to do because of the wiring of what it feels like to be anxious. And so somewhere in there, I'm hoping that I can invite you to enter into a process that has permutations that are uniquely about you, about each individual person. This isn't really a cookie cutter thing that I'm offering you, so I hope you're not disappointed about that, because I don't have the 3 magic steps or the 10 tips. But I do have a way of being with ourselves that I'd like to suggest, and some things to watch for on this journey, and some perhaps some metaphors that help inspire us to keep returning to this difficult task over and over and over again. So if I can ask us to approach this journey of growth more as a mystery, and that we're willing to live our way through it rather than as this problem to be solved, I feel like that might get us more on the same page. That being said, I do feel that there are some kind of clear sort of areas that I can direct us to in terms of what to do to begin to pay attention. If you've already decided that it makes sense to you that signal anxiety might be something worth paying attention to, and that you're willing to have this experience of being in your body and risk feeling that, then let me help you do that. Okay? The first thing that would be very, very important is that you would locate yourself precisely in your body. Precision is the antidote to neglect, and most of us have been neglecting these homes that we live in, and living from the head up, right, just from the neck up, and dragging these bodies around as sort of life support systems for the brain. And they're much more than that. They're sentient organisms with their own intelligence, their own information, and their own life force, quite different from the mind that you think of as your mind. There's a mind in here too. And the precision with which we can pay attention to the body is at the heart of this whole process. So people will say to me, well, I feel anxious, when I ask them. And I say, well, good start. Okay, points for starting. And you can't actually feel anxious, because that's a concept. You can't feel your thumbs and your kneecaps and your calves and your butt and your throat and your diaphragm and your elbows and your back of your neck and your scalp and your jaw and your stomach, and you get the point, all at the same time. As I go through, if you were trying to track those parts of your body as I was describing them, you'd have lost track after about 2 or 3. Okay, if you're a meditator, maybe 4, 5. All right? But the ability to actually register and feel and experience every one of those parts of your body simultaneously, we are actually quite limited. Our attentions are like really quite, it's quite humbling actually. We're little mosquitoes when it comes to our attention. So you can't really be feeling your whole body, right? My whole body's tense, people will say. Well, yeah, you've been meditating a long time, right? And you still, really, you can't be feeling your whole body. So the first step is locate with precision, right? And go through, you know, if necessary, have a little hand drawing of the human body in front of you so that you can see, oh my goodness, there's a lot of parts on there, right? Because we don't even really kind of notice how rich and complex our bodies are. And go systematically. Don't have to hang out a long time, but just know, okay, foot, calf, quad, bicep, ooh, diaphragm, stomach, yeah, tight, 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 tight. Back of the neck, jaw. Okay, so you do a kind of a scan through. That's the first one, locate with precision. And then the second step would be to put some language to that. Just a bit, no poetry, you don't have to be fancy schmancy, no need to pull out the thesaurus. Just some words, tense, tight, constricted, heavy, hot, pressure. I mean, that much, my goodness, you're doing great. I mean, just tense is fine. But to actually say, calf tense, okay? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Your calf has probably never been that listened to. All right? Not unless it was like in total pain and knocked you out with a Charlie horse. I mean, we just don't listen to quiet whispers, right? Hit over the head by a mallet. Oh, right. Well, I'll listen then, right? I'm asking us to listen much sooner and to put language to it. Well, why? Because the registering of the sensations is done in the right side of the brain. It's done in a part of you that can feel but doesn't really naturally put words to things. So there's the insula in the brain, which connects into the organs of the body and tells you what you're feeling, and you get kind of impressions there. But we need that information to cross over from the right side of the brain to the left side of the brain so that we can begin to get connected here. So the left side, where I start to label what's going on, now that gets to come in and I start to have a more integrated experience of this. So now I'm going to start using some words, one or two, for each of these areas that I went, check, 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 check. Now I actually put language to it, okay? Constricted, tight, pressure, whatever. And then the third thing, after locating and naming, is to now deeply experience one of those areas. Just one, just to start with, just one. Let your body decide. Oh, you go ahead and decide. You're the boss of you. You decide. But tune in with a slow awareness. All right? This is perhaps the most difficult thing, to tune in with a slow awareness. I often ask people, slow down as much as you can as you're tuning in right now to those trapezius muscles that, yank your shoulders up. Tune into them and feel them and go as slow as you can. And once they're going as slow as they can, I ask them to go 5 times slower than that.